Hello, and welcome to another episode of TEW 2020 WWE. We are here continuing the build-up to our October pay-per-view specials in Halloween Havoc and Extreme Rules. We're kicking off things as usual with Monday Night Raw, and Angel Garza storms out to the ring for an 85. Angel Garza hadn't been seen since SummerSlam, where he defeated Edge for the WWE Championship before being attacked by the Hall of Famer, which allowed Adam Cole to cash in and take the title off him. He made his return last week, costing Edge his WWE title match against Adam Cole. And now he's here tonight. He gets on the mic and he demands Edge come out and face him. He says that Edge cost him his title, but more than that, Edge could have cost him his career with his brutal assault. He could have taken his livelihood away, and Edge should know how that feels because it happened to him. So Garza says he wants Edge to come out here right now and face him like a man for an 89. But it's not Edge who comes out, it is the Raw general manager, Drake Maverick, who makes his way onto the ramp for 78. And Drake Maverick says to Garza he needs to calm down. He knows he's upset, he understands it. But right now, the best thing Angel Garza can do is go home. Is to go home, heal and recuperate, because Angel Garza is still not medically cleared to compete following Edge's attack at SummerSlam. But Garza says he doesn't care. He doesn't care what the doctors say. He doesn't care what WWE management says. He only cares about getting revenge on Edge. So he says he'll sign whatever Drake Maverick and the people upstairs want. He'll sign a waiver. He'll sign any contract they put in front of him, as long as that contract gives him a match with Edge, so he can teach Edge a lesson after what Edge did to him for a 78-year. Angel Garza enraged by Edge's actions at SummerSlam, and he doesn't care about his health, he doesn't care about his career now, he only cares about getting revenge on Edge. So, will Drake Maverick be able to get him that match? We'll have to wait and see. But next up, we have Drew McIntyre taking on Matt Hardy. Last week, Jeff Hardy defeated Drew McIntyre's tag team partner Sheamus one-on-one, and now it's Drew and Matt's turn to go at it. And Drew McIntyre picking up the win with the Future Shock DDT here for a 77, 81 from Drew, 54 from Matt. Good match here. As one half of the Raw Tag Team Champions, Drew McIntyre comes out on top. The Celtic Warriors getting a win back here following their defeat last week to the Hardy Boys. We then go backstage to the Undisputed Era walking around Fish, Strong, US Champ O'Reilly, and of course the WWE Champion Adam Cole, when they're stopped by Daniel Bryan. And Daniel Bryan says that he saw the match last week, he saw Adam Cole start that title, and he remembered what Adam Cole said in about the bragging rights about how amazing a wrestler Daniel Bryan is. And Daniel Bryan says that Adam Cole's right. Daniel Bryan is one of the best in the world. And that's why Daniel Bryan deserves a shot at the WWE title. Adam Cole said, no. You don't deserve a shot at this. And Daniel Bryan says that he does. He says Adam Cole versus Daniel Bryan for the WWE title match. That is a match the fans want to see. That's a match management would want to see. That's the match that should happen. Because Daniel Bryan is a man capable of defeating Adam Cole and taking that title. But they're interrupted by AJ Styles, who says that he deserves a shot at the WWE title, saying that whilst Daniel Bryan was at home, he was fighting for Raw at bragging rights. And so if anyone deserves an opportunity around here, it's him for a 90. As next up, we go to the ring. We have Matt Riddle versus Samoa Joe. Matt Riddle becoming US champion, #1 contender last week. Samoa Joe attacking him after. And now, going head-to-head, if Samoa Joe wins, he'll be added to that United States Championship match at Extreme Rules. And he will be. Samoa Joe defeating Matt Riddle with the Muscle Buster in the end for an 80. 77 for Riddle, 69 for Joe. Good work from these two for the 80. Samoa Joe winning the match. And that means at Extreme Rules for the United States title, it will now be a triple threat match. Kyle O'Reilly versus Matt Riddle versus Samoa Joe. After the match, Samoa Joe standing tall over the fallen Matt Riddle for an 84 here. Hopefully that triple match for that United States title will be really good come Extreme Rules. As we have a big announcement next, it will be AJ Styles versus Daniel Bryan in the main event tonight, where the winner will become #1 contender to Adam Cole and the WWE Championship. Who will be getting that match at Extreme Rules? We will find out very soon. A 73 for that massive announcement. Should be a good match, and whichever man ends up facing Adam Cole should be a really good match if we're all honest here. Before next up, another big match. It is the former Women's World Champion Asuka taking on Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks setting her sights on Ember Moon and the Women's World title. And now going head to head with the former champion Asuka here, looking to prove herself, looking to prove that Ember Moon beat Asuka for the women's title, but that's not an accomplishment because I can beat Asuka too, and that's why I deserve to have that championship instead of Ember. And in the match, Sasha Banks coming out on top, following a backstabber onto Asuka off the turnbuckles. Asuka taken out, allowing Sasha Banks to pick up that win for an 87 here. By far the best women's match of the save so far. One of the best matches of the save so far, full stop. I think it's joint fourth. Really amazing work from these two. 84 for Asuka, 88 from Sasha Banks. They have pretty good chemistry and it lifted the match. That is amazing to see. I am very, very happy with that. Yeah, amazing work from both of these superstars. After the match, Sasha Banks beating down on Asuka a little bit more, putting her in the bank statement. When the music of the Women's World Champion Ember Moon hits, Ember Moon storming out to the ring, Sasha Banks releasing her hold and escaping just before Ember Moon can arrive to stop her. Ember Moon calling for Sasha to get in the ring, but Sasha saying, no, you have to wait for that one, for a 91. Amazing work once again from everyone involved in these segments. Sasha Banks especially on the form of her life in the last few months. And yeah, Sasha Banks, Ember Moon for that Women's World title. Another match that hopefully will be really, really good. Halloween Havoc and Extreme Rules, I think, are building out very strong cards that I have very high hopes for. As we have a little promo segment, Tommaso Ciampa backstage talking about last week beating Rollins and beating Thatcher, how no one can go toe-to-toe with him, how no one can beat him, how he is the hardcore champion and how he's going to stay that way. When Pete Dunne out of nowhere storms into him, attacking him. Ciampa and Pete Dunne, of course, were both on Team Raw bragging rights. Ciampa attacking Pete Dunne, destroying him, fairy tale ending on the concrete before throwing him in to be pinned and then leaving. And now Pete Dunne taking a section to this and going right for Ciampa backstage, managing to hit him with a bitter end onto the concrete floor backstage. Pete Dunne in his Ciampa's face saying that who's not good enough now for a 77 here. Clear message from Pete Dunne, going right for the hardcore champion Tommaso Ciampa here. Before we head into that earlier mentioned main event, the WWE Championship #1 contenders match between AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan. What a match. Both men going for it. Both men wanting to win, wanting that opportunity at the WWE title. But in the end, it's Daniel Bryan who pulls it off in just under 20 minutes. Daniel Bryan, AJ Styles going for the phenomenal forearm, but Daniel Bryan hitting him with the running knee in mid-air, taking AJ out completely, allowing Daniel to pick up the 1, 2, 3. Daniel Bryan is the #1 contender to Adam Cole's WWE Championship. A 90 for the match. What a match from these two. Asuka and Sasha had an amazing match, and somehow AJ and Daniel have one-upped it with that 90, the second best match of the save so far, I do believe. 91 for AJ, 82 for Bryan. Amazing work. As Daniel Bryan comes out on top and gets that match at Extreme Rules with Adam Cole. After the match, Daniel Bryan getting his arm raised when he is attacked by the Undisputed Era, Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish and Roderick Strong for an 87 here. The UE beating down on Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan trying to fight out of it, but he's just had a hellacious match with AJ. Obviously a bit beat down from that already, and now the UE just beating him down even further when the music of Samoa Joe hits and Samoa Joe storms out to the ring, going right for Kyle O'Reilly, the US champ, beating him down. Fish and Strong trying to intervene, but Joe taking them out as well. They all three start to overpower Joe a bit when Riddle runs out now and joins in, and in the end the combined force of Bryan, Joe and Riddle manages to take out Fish, Strong and O'Reilly. Adam Cole's already left, obviously, looking out for himself above all, his self-preservation kicking in, as all he can do is stand on the ramp with that WWE title, watching as Bryan, Joe and Riddle all stand tall to end Raw here for an 84. Really good episode, especially those last two matches from Asuka and Sasha and AJ and Daniel. Amazing work. Really, really happy with this. Overall, Raw getting a rating of 90. What an episode. What a show. Incredible. Really happy with that. The build up to Extreme Rules on Raw is going amazingly. I'm blown away by both of those last two matches. Incredible. Increase of popularity in 38 regions. Perfect. We probably started on too high a high here. I don't know how NXT and SmackDown are going to match that, but we will find out, because it is time now for another installment of NXT. And NXT starts right into some action here as the camera frantically heading backstage to an all-out brawl going on between Karrion, Kross and Randy Orton, and between Becky Lynch and Raquel Gonzalez, the NXT champion, NXT Women's champion, and their Extreme Rules challengers going at it separately, of course, beating the hell out of each other for an 89, eventually having to be separated by security. In storms William Regal, and he is not happy. He says, "This is not how we do things in NXT. This isn't how we do things around here. If you all have problems with each other, we settle this in the ring. We settle this properly." And you guys clearly can't wait into Extreme Rules. So tonight, in the main event, it'll be Karrion Kross and Raquel Gonzalez against Randy Orton and Becky Lynch. And to add a little something more to it, the winning team, those two superstars will get to pick the stipulation for their match at Extreme Rules for an 85. Huge announcement for William Regal. Absolute blockbuster main event between the competitors in the upcoming NXT and NXT Women's Championship matches, with the added caveat that the winning team's members will get to pick the stipulation for their match at Extreme Rules. Huge news from Regal there, as the superstars will get a chance to get their hands on each other and also get the advantage of choosing the match type for their championship matches. Before we have the first semi-final from the NXT Breakout Tournament, it is Carmello Hayes taking on the fabulous Fredrick Fairchild. And the fabulous Fredrick Fairchild picks up the win in the end with that fabulous facebuster of his for a 45-62 from Fairchild, 41 from Carmello Hayes. Done alright here, as Fredrick Fairchild gets the win and advances to the final of NXT's Breakout Tournament over Carmello Hayes here. Good work from Fairchild with the 62 as he books his spot in next week's final. We then go backstage and we see Aleister Black being attacked by Legado. Aleister Black, Andrade going for a sneak attack on Orton after his loss to him last week. Aleister Black appearing and black massing Andrade, and Andrade taking sections of this clearly as him and Legado, as him and the other two members of Legado attack Aleister Black. Attack Aleister Black backstage here for a 73. But Aleister Black finds reinforcements in the returning Mysterios. Rey Mysterio and his son Dominik. Rey not seen since just before SummerSlam. Dominik's not seen since SummerSlam. But they're back and they storm in to help Aleister Black here. Going right for Legado for an 81 here. Scaring Legado away and setting up a big match for later on. 6-man tag. Legado taking on Aleister Black and the Mysterios. Hopefully that match should be good before we head into the next match of this evening. It's Duke Hudson, who lost in the NXT Breakout Tournament last week, but getting another match tonight, taking on the NXT North American Champion Keith Lee, looking to show Chad Gable, who is at ringside, what he can do here, as probably very expectedly, it's the NXT North American Champion Keith Lee picking up the win here. Keith Lee with the big bang catastrophe onto Duke Hudson for the victory here for a 75. Good match, all things considered. Hudson with a 38, but Keith Lee with that 84 rating to get that segment rating to a nice 75. I'm very happy with that. Keith Lee building a bit of momentum himself heading into that NXT North American Championship match at Extreme Rules with Chad Gable after the match. Chad Gable and Keith Lee respectfully stare down once again. There's a lot of mutual respect here heading into that match at Extreme Rules. Hopefully it'll be a good contest between two very good competitors who both looked a real star in this segment here for an 85. We then go backstage to an interview with Randy Orton and the NXT Women's Champion Becky Lynch, both ready for a fight, both saying they can't wait to get their hands on Raquel and Kross, both excited for the main event tonight for an 86 here. Randy Orton and Becky Lynch, a very odd tag team, but I think it can work out pretty well. The experience of Orton, the man Becky Lynch as well. I think it could be a very good unit, to be honest. Before we head into the second NXT Breakout Tournament. Before we head into the second semi-final from the NXT Breakout Tournament, where the winner will take on the fabulous Fredrick Fairchild next week in the final. It is Bronson Reed taking on Omos. And Bronson Reed picks up the win in the end with the tsunami for a 58 here. 65 for Reed, 44 for Omos. Sadly, almost sustained an undisclosed foot injury. Oh, that's not good for him. Only his second match getting that injury. But match-wise, 58, pretty good. Disappointed with the injury, but it's Bronson Reed advancing to the final. After the match, the fabulous Fredrick Fairchild coming out onto the stage where Bronson Reed is, and the two men staring down a big final next week between two pretty good competitors in Reed and Fairchild. Hopefully that should be a good match, as Bronson Reed invented a new catchphrase which went over well, so there's that at least. 68 for that post-match stare down. Before we head backstage, this time Karrion Kross with the NXT champion Karrion Kross with Scarlett and Raquel Gonzalez there, and they're angry, and they're saying they can't wait to get their hands on Orton and Becky Lynch. They can't wait to make sure Orton and Becky Lynch don't even make it to Extreme Rules, because Extreme Rules tonight, it's a war. It's a battle. It's a battle. It's a war. And Kross and Gonzalez make it very clear they plan on winning this particular war. For an 80 here. Good work from this team as well. Hopefully it'll be a very good main event. But next up, we have that earlier mentioned 6-man tag team match. It is Legado, the Cruiserweight champion Andrade, and the Cruiserweight tag team champions Humberto Carrillo and Santos Escobar, taking on Aleister Black and the returning Mysterios, Rhea and Dominik. And in the end, Aleister Black and the Mysterios pick up the win here. Aleister Black hitting Humberto Carrillo with a black mass to pick up the victory for a 77 here. Aleister Black coming out on top against Andrade. Once again, Andrade not happy at all with that. In-ring performance-wise, 91 from Andrade, head and shoulders above everyone else. Looked good out there is an understatement, I'd say. 83 from Black, 76 from Mysterio, 68 Escobar, 62 Carrillo, 36 from the young Dominik. Pretty decent all round, 77 segment rating. I'm happy with that. Aleister Black and Mysterios coming out on top over the Cruiserweight Championship dominating stable. Legado and Black and Mysterios celebrating that win as Legado look on from the ramp for an 83 here in the post. Before we head into the main event of this evening, that earlier mentioned tag team match that's been building throughout the show. It is the NXT champion Karrion Kross and the NXT Women's Championship number 1 contender Raquel Gonzalez taking on the NXT Championship number 1 contender Randy Orton and the NXT Women's Champion Becky Lynch. The winning team will get to pick the stipulation for their matches at Extreme Rules. The main event, your winners, the team of Randy Orton and Becky Lynch. In the end, it gets a bit chaotic at the end. Karrion Kross in the ring with Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch slapping Kross. Karrion Kross looking like he's going to go for Becky Lynch. But before he can get his hands on her, Randy Orton turning him around and hitting an RKO onto Karrion Kross, pinning him for the 1-2-3. Randy Orton pinning the NXT champion Karrion Kross. Karrion Kross yet to be pinned this year, but taking the pinfall from Randy Orton here tonight for an 82. Good match. 87 for Lynch, 86 for Kross, 83 Orton, 62 Gonzalez. Very happy with this as Orton and Lynch come out on top. And then after the match, as Kross, Scarlett and Gonzalez look on from the ramp, Orton and Lynch get the mics, and Becky Lynch announces that at Extreme Rules she wants to beat the living hell out of Raquel Gonzalez, and she doesn't want it to stop until she's good and ready for it to stop. And so their match at Extreme Rules will be a last woman standing match. And then Randy Orton saying that Karrion Kross thinks he's a big tough guy, but he just got pinned 1-2-3 in the middle of the ring, and that's what's going to happen in Extreme Rules as well. But Orton says he doesn't want it to be easy. He wants it to be hard. He wants it to be brutal. He wants to beat the living hell out of Karrion Kross for everything he's done. And so he's going to take Karrion Kross to a place he can do that. He's going to take him to the darkest place he knows to properly destroy Karrion Kross. He's going to take him to hell. Hell in a cell. For an 86 here, 2 huge announcements. The NXT Women's Championship match between Lynch and Gonzalez, last woman standing, and that NXT Championship match between Kross and Orton will be a Hell in a Cell match. Great episode of NXT, I'd say. Overall rating of 83. Good rating. Increased popularity in 2 regions. No complaints. Maybe the rating doesn't look as good compared to Raw's 90, but what is going to look good compared to Raw's 90? Raw did it was an incredible episode of Raw. So this episode of NXT, still very good, however, I would say. And I'm happy with that overall. As we now look to end the week here with another episode of Smackdown. And in Smackdown, getting underway here with the former Women's World Champion Shayna Baszler making her entrance to the ring. Shayna Baszler hadn't been seen since Backlash back in April, made her return last week attacking the $1 Million champion Bianca Belair. She's making her Smackdown debut here. She comes out to the ring and she gets on the mic before her match against Nikki Cross, and she says that she's been away and she's been thinking about what happened at WrestleMania, what happened at Backlash, and she realized that it was time for her to come back. It was time for her to remind everybody what the Queen of Spades can do. And so that is what she's going to do. And that's why she went for Bianca Belair. She went for the $1 Million champion. And she's going to break Bianca Belair. She's going to take her title. And then she's going to go to Survivor Series and she's going to take Rhea Ripley's title. And she's going to show everybody and give everybody a reminder that the Queen of Spades is the Queen of WWE for a reason. For an 84 here from Shayna Baszler, making her message very clear before her match next up against Nikki Cross, where she picks up the victory in her return to action with that Kirifuda clutch for a 70. 55 for Kross, 68 for Baszler. Shayna Baszler coming out on top after the match. Shayna Baszler getting her arm raised, Alexa Bliss, Nikki Cross's partner, checking on her, and then Shayna Baszler attacking Bliss from behind, locking her in that Kirifuda clutch, Bliss tapping, Shayna Baszler not caring, before throwing her down and standing over Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss. A clear message to the SmackDown women's roster, and especially SmackDown's $1 Million champion, Bianca Belair, for a 66 here in the post. Good work from these 3. And then we go backstage to an interview. Kayla Braxton interviewing Finn Balor and Montez Ford about last week. Montez Ford saying that he remembers what happened at SummerSlam, and he was focusing on bragging rights, but bragging rights is done now, and he can turn his attention back to Thaddeus Bullard and his crony Apollo Crews. He says without Apollo Crews, he would have beaten Thaddeus Bullard at SummerSlam, and Finn Balor would have beaten Thaddeus Bullard weeks ago. But Apollo Crews keeps getting in the way, keeps interfering. And so Ford and Finn say they're going to unite. They're uniting tonight in a tag team match in the main event later against Bullard and Crews. And then what goes from there goes from there. But Ford says that Bullard is not keeping that title for long, because whether it be Balor or whether it be me, we're coming for him and we're taking what we deserve. For 86, really good work from these guys. Finn Balor, the performance was good, and Montez Ford looked good. Yeah, both of these men, very impressive. Montez Ford benefiting from having a hot catchphrase. A very Montez Ford thing, if we're all honest here. For next up, we have Rhea Ripley, the Universal Women's Champion, in action against Liv Morgan, the tag team partner, of course, of the #1 contender to Rhea Ripley's title, Ruby Riott. And Rhea Ripley picking up the win here with the riptide over onto Liv Morgan for a 71. Good match, 75 for Ripley, 61 for Morgan. Morgan doing well. Ripley coming out on top, though, after the match. Ruby Riott helping Morgan up the ramp as Ruby Riott and Rhea Ripley stare down those two ready for a big match just over a week away at Halloween Havoc. We then have another promo from Big E. Big E saying that Bray talked about patience, and Big E says he's being patient. And all this patience is doing is making him angrier. It's building up this rage inside of him. And he says that when he eventually gets his hand on Bray Wyatt, the Fiend, whoever, he can't wait, because that rage is going to explode. And it's not going to be good for Bray Wyatt. It's not going to be good for the Fiend. He says he's damn well certain that it will feel good for him when he knocks the taste out of their mouth for an 82 here from Big E. Big E still enraged for the Fiend attacking him, for the Fiend attacking his New Day brothers, and making it very clear that when he gets his hands on Bray or the Fiend, it's going to be a war. Before we go backstage, Kayla Braxton knocking on Bullard's door, asking for an interview on Bullard's thoughts on the tag match later tonight, on Balor and Ford's comments. Heyman answering the door, Heyman saying no. No, he's not going to allow Kayla to come in and distract his clients. Kayla can stay out there, and if she wants to know what Bullard or Cruz thinks, then she can wait like everyone else for later tonight when they're in action. When they let their fists and their fighting do the talking, and they teach Balor and Ford a lesson they won't forget. For an 87 here, Paul Heyman was superb in this segment, as you'd expect, making it very clear that Bullard and Cruz are not in a talking mood for tonight. They're ready for that match in the main event against Finn Balor and Montez Ford. Then next up we have the match announced last week. Charlotte Flair taking on one half of the Women's Tag Team Champions, Naomi. Charlotte defeating Naomi's partner, Nia Jax, last week. Now getting hands on Naomi herself. And the two going back and forth. Could go either way. But then out comes that hooded figure once again, providing a distraction on Charlotte, who turns around Naomi, taking her down, and then hitting that split-legged moonsault onto her for the 1-2-3. Naomi picking up the victory over Charlotte here, following that distraction. For an 80, really good match from these two. 79 for Flair, 63 from Naomi. The women getting very high ratings this week between this match, Becky and Raquel's involvement in that NXT main event, and of course Sasha and Asuka tearing the house down on Raw. It's Naomi coming out on top here, and then after the match, that hooded figure getting in the ring once again as Charlotte begins to get to her knees. And then the hooded figure slowly pulling their hood back and taking their mask off, revealing their identity as Portela Muerte, aka Thunder Rosa, making her debut here under a new name, Portela Muerte, and going right for Charlotte Flair, taking Charlotte Flair down here, and in the end hitting her with that Samoan driver onto the mat and standing tall here over Charlotte Flair. Portela Muerte's official debut here, not masked, not hooded, her in the flesh, standing tall over the Queen of WWE, Charlotte Flair. What a debut here for Portela Muerte, immediately making a statement in WWE for a 70 here. Very good work from these two. And then we head backstage to an interview with Spanish Fly, Alfonso Borderman, and Socrates Torres, the Smackdown Tag Team Champions, talking about Rush, Ruff, and Swan. Torres bragging about dealing with Swan last week, and saying that if Rush and Ruff want another shot at the tag titles, they can have it, because you know what? Spanish Fly will happily deal with them once again. They'll happily take them out again if that's what they want, because Spanish Fly will always be happy to prove to them and to everyone else in WWE that they are tag team champions for a reason. They won these titles in their debut for a reason, because Spanish Fly are the best tag team on this planet. For a 57, pretty good work from these two. Torres improvised well. Bourbon enjoyed having the freedom to go off script. Both building up slowly, and I'm very happy with this from Spanish Fly. Before we head into that main event tag team match, is the Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion of the World, Thaddeus Bullard, and Apollo Crews, with Paul Heyman, of course, against Finn Balor and Montez Ford. And both teams giving this match everything they've got. Both teams wanting to get the victory here. But in the end, Montez Ford flying over the top rope to take out Bullard at ringside, leaving just Balor and Crews in the ring. And in the end, Finn Balor manages to hit Crews with the 1916 and pick up the win here for an 87. Amazing work from these four guys. An 87 for the match. An incredible week of in-ring action overall, I'd say. The match ratings this week have been incredible. 87 for Finn doing amazing. 79 for Ford, 78 Bullard, 73 Crews. Really, really happy with this. A great main event as Balor and Ford come out on top. And then after the match, Crews and Bullard going up the ramp. And Finn Balor, before Heyman gets the chance to, collecting the Intercontinental title that spilled on the floor at one point and taking it in the ring, and then staring up at Bullard as he raises the Intercontinental title in the air. Bullard looking very angry, but nothing he can do with it about it, as Finn Balor and Montez Ford stand tall to end the main event here for a 91. Amazing work once again from these guys. We then go to a Firefly Funhouse segment from Bray Wyatt, saying to Big E that patience is important, and then at the end, when you're patient, the rewards are all the sweeter. He promises him, but he says that you can see he's getting a bit impatient now, and well, that's okay, because in 8 days at Halloween Havoc, he's coming to get what is his. He's coming to take back what is his. And so Big E doesn't have to be patient for very long now, does he? And then Bray Wyatt bidding Big E farewell, making it very clear the Fiend coming for Big E come Halloween Havoc for an 83 here. Good work from Bray Wyatt as usual. But we have the final segment of the night, as advertised last week, the SmackDown return of Dwayne The Rock Johnson for an 89. The Rock not seen since SummerSlam when he defeated Roman Reigns in that Night 1 main event. The Rock hyping up the crowd, hyping up backstage, saying that SmackDown lost at bragging rights. They were humiliated, losing all 6 matches, not a single win. And that is not how SmackDown is. That's not how SmackDown's ever been. He says SmackDown needs to get it together and come back fighting. Because SmackDown, people might not call it, but SmackDown was, and always will be the A show to The Rock and to millions around the world for an 87. But then out of nowhere, The Rock attacked from behind by Jacob Fatu and the Usos, destroying The Rock in the ring, an absolute beatdown. The Usos hitting synchronized drop kicks, Jacob Fatu picking him up for a Samoan drop, and then the Usos hitting dual frog splashes onto him, and then the Bloodline members standing tall over The Rock saying that that's what you get. That's a message from your tribal chief. The Bloodline here getting a little bit of revenge on behalf of Roman Reigns following that defeat at SummerSlam to end the show here for a 64. A low segment range to end the show, but it's been an amazing show overall. Ending with the Bloodline standing tall over The Rock. SmackDown this week overall getting an 88. An amazing rating again. The overall ratings this week, I think because the match ratings have been incredible. That main event for the 87 and then those final segments with The Rock especially. Really great way to end the show. And end the week. Increased top lane 38 regions, Halloween Havoc and Extreme Rules. The build up going really well in my opinion. Hopefully those will be some great shows if we can continue this momentum into next week and then into them. But that is it for this week. If you've enjoyed, and I hope you have, because I think it's been maybe the best overall week ratings wise so far in this save, then please like and subscribe for more. And thank you for watching.